Henrik Mkhitaryan, the man tipped to be one of United's most important attacking players in the years to come. But besides his time at Dortmund, most don't realize he has broken goal-scoring records in the Ukraine and developed his playing style at a young age in Brazil, alongside the likes of Oscar and Hernandez. So who is the player who in his early days at United looked as if he would toe the line of being a summer transfer flop? Hey, I'm Adrian from Rabona TV, and today we'll be looking at Henrik Mkhitaryan's origins and his playing career before arriving at Manchester United. And also, if you're interested, we have a lot of other profiles on players and managers, and some of those players are bound to be the hottest properties in transfer windows to come, so take a look if you're curious. But enough of that, let's get to the goods. Henrik Mkhitaryan was born in 1989 in Yerevan, Armenia, which of course at the time was part of the Soviet Union. His mother, Marina Tashian, was unemployed at the time but got a job as head of the Armenian Football Federation national team department much later in life. Henrik has a sister named Monica who is also involved in football. She works at the UEFA headquarters and was once the assistant to former UEFA president Michel Platini. Henrik's father, Hamlet, was also a footballer, a strong, powerful forward who plied most of his trade for Ararat Yerevan and won the Knight of Attack Award in 1984 from Soviet Soldier magazine. Due to some unrest in Armenia, just after Henrik was born, Hamlet moved his entire family to Valence, France, where he played with the local club for 5 seasons. When Henrik turned 6, his parents said that they were moving back to Armenia, but were very vague with the reasoning why. A year later, Henrik learned that reason in the worst way possible as his father passed away from a brain tumor at the age of 33. All that he had left of his father were the videotapes of him playing in France, which Henrik would watch 2 to 3 times a week.
Hamlet Mkhitaryan stanalov zakhtevits.
Quote, "It would give me a lot of happiness, especially when the camera showed him when he was celebrating a goal or hugging his teammates." So, in remembering his father the only way that he could through those tapes, Henrik found his first footballing hero, and just a year after his father's passing, Henrik began his football training with FC PYUNIK. When Henrik was 13, he had the chance to go to Brazil to train with São Paulo with 2 other Armenian players. Funnily enough, one of Henrik's roommates when he was in Brazil was Hernandez, the former Lazio, Inter, and Juventus player. With Kaká being another one of his idols, Henrik was enthralled by Brazil and says that it helped develop his playing style. But he eventually had to return to FC PYUNIK in 2004. He stayed with PYUNIK for almost 14 years, including his time in the youth team. He made his senior debut in 2006 at the age of 17. In his best season, 2009, he scored 11 goals. In total, he scored 30 goals in 70 appearances and won the Armenian Premier League title 4 times. At the end of that season, aged 20, Henrik transferred to Ukrainian side Metalurg Donetsk, where he scored a goal on his debut against Partizan Minsk in the Europa League qualifiers. His first league goal came in a 2-2 draw with Karpaty Lviv on the 26th of July 2009. He impressed so much in his first season that he was named captain of Metalurg in his sophomore year at just 21. He only played 8 matches and scored 3 goals in his second season, which would prove to be his last before moving across town to Shakhtar Donetsk on the 30th of August 2010. Surprisingly, before signing on with Shakhtar, Henrik had a trial with Iranian side Mez Kerman, but the head coach rejected him. Henrik says that many of his former teammates and colleagues told him that he would struggle at Shakhtar due to the large amount of Brazilians already on the squad. Quote, "They said I would not be able to succeed there because there were 12 Brazilians at the club. I just laughed to myself. In my mind, I'm thinking, I'm half Brazilian." And of course, he got on just fine. His first season was a success, making 27 appearances and scoring 4 goals. In his second, he would do even better, with 11 goals from 37 appearances. But it was his third and final season where things really took off for Henrik. After just 6 matches, he'd equaled his goal-scoring tally from the previous season. And the milestones continued as in September against Danish champions Nordsjælland, Henrik scored his first Champions League goal. His rich goal-scoring form continued throughout the season, and in March against Tavria, he set the record for the most goals scored in the Ukrainian Premier League, scoring his 23rd and 24th of the season. He ended the season with 25 in the league, 2 in the National Cup, and 2 in the Champions League. All of these goals playing as an attacking midfielder. So much for struggling at Shakhtar. His dominance in the Ukraine caught the attention of Jurgen Klopp and Borussia Dortmund. Henrik was hesitant to take up the challenge, but with conflicts beginning in Donetsk and Shakhtar Stadium getting abandoned, he ultimately decided to sign on with Dortmund for 27.5 million euros, the most expensive acquisition in the club's history. He had a solid first season with the club, making his Bundesliga debut on the 18th of August 2013 against Eintracht Braunschweig. His first goal for the club, or goals, were scored against Eintracht Frankfurt in a 2-1 win. In his second season, however, Henrik struggled just as much as the rest of the team. Quote, "The second season was a disaster. I had many hard nights in my apartment in Dortmund, all alone, just thinking." Dortmund transferred from the Klopp era to a new, up-and-coming managerial property in Thomas Tuchel, who, Henrik says, changed everything for him. His third and final season with Dortmund was one of the most enjoyable for him, as he said, quote, "We played a crazy, super attacking style. Even when we lost, we had fun. And with that fun came 15 assists in the league, 23 goals in all competitions, and winning the Players' Player of the Season award." Shortly after the season ended, Henrik got a call from his agent saying that Manchester United was interested in signing him. He didn't believe his agent at first, but sure enough, a few days later, he received a phone call from Ed Woodward himself, thereby confirming that the interest was legit. Though again, it was a difficult decision to leave the club that he was having success at, he decided to take up the challenge. And a challenge is exactly what it was for Henrik, as he didn't see much first-team football in the early months of his career at Manchester United, due both in part to an injury early on, and Mourinho just being Mourinho and saying that Henrik wasn't ready yet for the Premier League. He was given a few minutes here, a few minutes there, but nothing substantial until early December, when Henrik started 3 matches in a row, scoring in all of them and helping United defeat Zorya, Tottenham, and Sunderland. Since then, he's had much more playing time and much better fortune, proving to be a dangerous player in the Premier League, just as he was in Germany, the Ukraine, and Armenia. Henrik says, quote, "When you walk onto the pitch at Old Trafford, it is not just a pitch, it is a stage." And it's interesting to think that without a family tragedy, Henrik could very well have ended up as a lawyer, as he originally had intended and his father had wanted. But instead, watching his father chase through balls on VHS turned into chasing his own dream, and thankfully, we get to witness him on this stage. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to check out our playlist with all of our other player and manager profiles. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Adrian, this is Rabona TV, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Ciao!